everyone, and welcome back to Real Life Planning Podcast. This is a place where we make money, home ownership, and wealth building feel real, doable, and honest. I'm your host, Vekevia Jones, and I'm a person that's going to tell you the truth and hold your hand at the same time. And today we're talking about something simple, but it's also expensive if you ignore it. This is a problem that no one thinks about. If you're saving for your first home or your first rental, especially if you're thinking about house hacking, I urge you and I want you to just answer this honestly. Where is your money sitting right now? Where is it sitting? Because if it's sitting in a regular savings account earning basically nothing, we need to talk gently but firmly. I see this all the time. You're doing such a great job. You're saving, you're doing all the things you need to do. You're not touching that money. That's excellent work. And that's definitely something to be applauded. But I see this all the time as a CFP. Smart people, hardworking people doing the right things. They're budgeting, they're saving, they're being disciplined, and their money is just parked. It's not growing and it's not helping. So it's just essentially sitting there. And when you're trying to buy a home, like you are doing all the things that you need to do, you're trying to buy a home and you want to do that within the next 6 to 12 months, every single dollar matters. So why does this matter for first-time home buyers and house hackers in particular? We've been doing a series really just focused on helping you guys with this. And here's why it's especially important. If you're a first-time homeowner or real estate investor, just listen up. Your down payment fund is usually the largest pile of cash that you'll ever have at one time before closing. Now, I don't mean ever in your life. I just mean as you're trying to work towards this particular goal. So if you think about that, that money has a job and you needed to put it to work. That money has to cover your down payment. Like what else does it have to do? It has to handle inspections. It has to handle appraisals. It has to basically be your emergency fund, right? It's going to pad that emergency fund. But it also has to do something a bit more like it's on the emotional side. It has to make you feel confident when you write that offer. You know that money is there, you've been saving, etc. But too often it's earning literally 0.01%, which is what bank savings accounts typically pay. And that's basically like a free loan if you think about it. And no, I'm not telling you to invest this money, certainly not in the stock market right before buying a house. That would not be the most financially savvy thing to do. This is more about being just doing what you're doing and making sure that you're being smart and safe parking that money and not gambling with it, but you're trying to earn something at the same time. All right. So why do high yield savings accounts work right now? We're in a really unique rate environment right now. For the first time in a long time, what we've been seeing is that high yield savings accounts are actually paying meaningful interest. Like in many cases, they're competing really close with CD rates. So I'm talking about rates that have recently been in the 4% range, sometimes higher, depending on the institution. And just maybe I've been looking at recently like 3.75%, 3.8. It does surprise you, but the numbers are out there. And that the key difference basically on that is that with a high yield savings account, your money stays liquid. There's no lockup period, no penalties for needing your money or your cash. And it's perfect for money that you know you're going to need within the next 12 months. It usually just fits. Not always you want to read the fine print, but in most situations, it just works and it makes sense. So where can you find these accounts? I'm not going to just name only one, certainly, but like where could you do your due diligence and find out more about this? You don't need a secret financial advisor or handshake to find these. Resources like NerdWallet and Bankrate, I use both of those all the time, and they do such a great job with listing current high yield savings accounts that are out there. And I usually type in like NerdWallet, best high yield savings accounts 2025, or I'll even put the month in. And you can compare things like interest rates or minimum balance requirements or monthly fees or FDIC insurance. And I want you to be very clear. You want to make sure it's FDIC insurance. If it sounds complicated or risky, it's not worth taking a chance or something like that. Typically, those two resources don't list those types of things, but you want to do your due diligence. All right, so let's make this real and just look at some simple math as an example. So let's just say you're saving and you saved $1,000, right? In a traditional savings account earning 0.01% after a year, you've earned basically nothing, like maybe a couple of cents. And certainly that's great, but that's not really something to get too excited about, right? Now, what if you take that same $1,000 and you put into a high yield savings account and you earn about 4%? I am rounding up a bit because I think I've seen a 3.75, but easy math, right? So 4%, that's roughly $40 in interest without doing anything extra, basically. So now let's scale that. Let's say that you save $5,000 and maybe that's part of your down payment or your house hacking cushion. And now you're talking about closer to $200 a year. Now, is it going to buy you a house by itself? No, of course not. But it might pay for your inspection, right? Or it might pay for your appraisal or your moving costs, right? And more importantly, what it does is it puts your money to work while you're doing the hard work and you're saving. That's a big deal. So, what are the pros and cons of this? So, let's just keep it real. It's not a perfect solution. So, the pros are, like I mentioned before, the higher interest rate than like your traditional savings accounts. There's no market risk. You're not investing it. There's liquidity, which is huge for buyers. And it's a great place to save for a down payment. It just really is. Now, on the downside of that, that the rates can change. They can certainly change. So, you want to be paying attention. Sometimes you might just find maybe at your institution, the rate went down a bit, and at another one, it's a bit higher. Now, it should be enough of a difference to make it worth moving the funds, but you want to stay abreast of that and just keep taking a look and seeing has your rate changed. Some banks may require minimum balances. So, a lot of times, what I do is I would just look for ones that don't have a minimum balance, is what I would suggest to any client or someone trying to get started. You really could just do that. A lot of the high yield savings accounts that you might see, especially when you go to NerdWallet and Bankrate, they are going to have brick and mortar, but they'll also have those online accounts. Now, I'm okay with online accounts, but I have met people, and it doesn't matter regardless age or anything like that, that some people are just a little bit less familiar or comfortable with an online bank. So pick what suits you. That's what's most important. And that's why you need to read the fine print, though. So don't just go in blindly and get a high yield savings account. You want to read the fine print and see what works best for you. And certainly let it be something that you understand. All right, so here's what to watch out for. You just want to double check before you open any type of account, okay? You want to check again, no monthly maintenance fees would be best, no minimum balance penalties. That's great. That is FDIC insured and it has easy transfers to your checking account, right? You don't need something that is just completely difficult to deal with. You don't want to be dealing with it. Now, if a bank makes it hard to get your money when you need it for closing, that's just a no. We're not doing it. There's too many other options. Okay. Real estate investor tip, put some house hack energy. So when I bought my first home and rented out a room, liquidity mattered then, and it definitely still matters now. I needed flexibility, I needed access to cash, and I needed my money to feel safe. With a high yield savings account, it's basically just, it's a good foundation. It's a great in-between step. You're not investing, so you're not taking market risk. You're certainly not stuffing your money under the mattress. And while you may be happy about that, but God forbid something happens or if they don't have the money, it's earning anything. There's just so much that comes in and steals it, all those kinds of things. Savings account is just smart planning. And it's a great way to get things started and to be earning some type of interest with that. All right, so let me just offer some encouragement for listeners who feel behind. You're not behind. And if you're listening thinking, I don't even have $5,000 saved yet, I want you to hear me. This is not about how much you have saved. This is about being intentional with how you treat what you have saved. Just worrying about what you do have. How intentional are you being with it? And someone else might be saying, I have quite a bit more than that saved, but it's not earning anything. The same holds true for you. You want to put that money to work. Good habits compound just like interest. So your takeaway today is simple. Don't let your hard-earned savings sit there doing nothing. You've already done the work. You're already saving. Let your money help you. This is Real Life Planning, and I'm Vekevia Jones. And as always, I'll see you next time.